I've been at Newham City Farm now for 22 years. Although I grew up about 10 or 12 miles from here, I'd never heard of city farms. But most London boroughs actually have a city farm. So there's approximately 15 of them throughout London, and they vary greatly. Some can be as small as 1/4 of an acre. We're about medium size, we're about 10 acres here. And then there's Mudshoot, who's approximately 60 acres, so they vary greatly, which obviously then dictates the type of stock they can keep and what type of work they get involved with. I very much was looking for another way of working with horses and people, so I did some searches on the internet and I came across Equine Assisted Qualifications quite quickly, and it just felt like all the pieces of the puzzle came together. And I was sort of reading things that I thought, oh yeah, I can do that, I'm quite good at that. Things that I hadn't felt going down the sort of British Horse Society route. I could never really truthfully see myself just teaching people to ride. I've devoted my life basically to working with people around animals, more to do with confidence, just giving people access to animals that don't have that access, because being in this part of London, lots of people can't even keep an animal because many people live in flats and animals aren't allowed in their tenancy agreements. So the more I read into it, the more I thought, yeah, I think this might be for me and the farm as well, because obviously I would need to get support from the council, as we're run by the council. But they were supportive. It sounded to them like it was a good idea. So I attended the introduction day with Tricia, and that was a couple of years ago, and I've been slowly working through some of the knowledge gained there with not just for the qualification, because there's a whole portfolio that you have to work through in order to become an equine learning facilitator, but everything to do with how the horses behave has helped me so much with my staff training and just how day-to-day work with the horses. So I'm absolutely confident that we are now in a much better place in the way we handle the horses and the way we keep them. I've made significant changes in how I stable the horses, and some of the work that I've been doing towards my portfolio, interacting with the horses, with learners, has just given me such satisfaction, in that I know I've made the right decision, because it's just been amazing, some of the reactions that I'm getting from some of the children that I wouldn't have thought possible. I just might have thought it wasn't suitable for us to be out in the fields with them loose, but the training's given me the confidence to keep on down this journey.
I've been going to Newham Farm for about 2 years and I really enjoy it. We learn a lot of things about the horses. We bring them in from the fields, we get to muck them out and groom them and ride, and a lot of other things. In the school holidays I get to spend all day at the farm and we get to do a lot of different things with the horses and learn how to look after them. Teresa is really nice and she has taught me a lot of things that I never knew about how to look after horses.
It's made me extra aware about horse behaviour. I mean, I notice very small details now that amongst the staff team, for example, so that I've actually incorporated it into my staff induction when new staff start, and some of my existing staff have gone through some extra training, because I'm confident that if everybody's consistent in what we do, then the horses are just in a much better place, because at the time there was a lot of differences between how one person would lead a horse to another, and now I just feel through discussion and the equine facilitator training that, you know, although it's still very much a journey and I'm still training myself, but everyone actually communicates. You know, the communication has been the key, not just with the horses but amongst ourselves, in that everyone's now talking about horse behaviour and recognising things, whereas before they may have just turned the animal out and that's it. Now people come back to me and say, oh, I noticed when I turned out Basil that this happened, and that enables me to understand the journey that the horses are making themselves, because they only became integrated as a herd a year ago. When I first came to the farm, the horses were kept singly in individual paddocks, diagonally opposite, so they couldn't get near each other. And it's only through, you know, coming through this training and sort of taking a bit of a bold step initially to integrate them, that now we're reaping the rewards, in that we're, you know, getting to see them in a far more natural setting. They're in a much more balanced place emotionally because they're able to groom each other, and, you know, they have their moments when they move each other around the field, but at least they're able to release whatever, you know, anxiety is making them do that, rather than just bottle it up, which might then show us as an unwanted behaviour, which wouldn't be particularly safe for the staff or our visiting public or our learners. So it's just continues to be fascinating, and we're all learning and continue to learn a lot around horse behaviour.
Since Theresa went on the horse awareness course, she's now trying to bring the horses back the way they would be if they were in the wild, like basically back to nature. Now it's nice to feel like you're working more with the horse rather than you just being not ignorant, but sort of, in a way, I suppose it is, you're being ignorant to the horse's emotions and feelings. And I believe now this way it feels like you're more in touch with the horse's emotions and they can be in touch with yours. I just feel more comfortable. I mean, I've had some rough experiences with them, so it's now I'm learning how to read them and realise some of their behaviour is not directed at me, it's not aimed at me, it's the way they feel at the time. And so that's how I feel that I'm more learning about them and myself, really.
And we always have to remember that any time you keep animals in captivity, that, you know, you are compromising the behaviours that they would naturally express, and you have to try and facilitate that as much as possible. Keeping animals is quite selfish in a way because we enjoy their company. So if we're going to do that, then the least we can do is facilitate them as much as possible.
What do you feel people can gain from accessing equine facilitated learning at Newham City Farm?
I feel they can gain a lot of emotional gratification, especially people who might find it a bit harder to connect to other human beings, whether they have a history of mental health problems, trauma, learning disabilities, especially people on the autistic spectrum like myself. I mean, I was very non-verbal, very non-communicative as a child. I'd be hiding under a table most of the time. And through exposure to animals, I've definitely come out of my shell a lot more. And especially in this urban setting where there's very fast-paced city life. And I don't think there's many people who say that they really look forward to going to work in the morning. I definitely find coming here to be an escape. It doesn't matter if it's 5 in the morning and it's dark and it's cold. Just being around these animals has given me a massive extra support network. So I could be having a really bad day and go find a cat to cuddle for 10 minutes and suddenly everything's so much better.
How long have you been volunteering with us now, David?
A long time now.
Long time. Remind me now, was it something like 10?
Yeah.
About 10 years? something like that. So when you come here, what have you done in the past with the ponies when you come here?
Hair collar.
Yeah, put a hair collar on. And who do you work with a lot when you're here? What pony?
Jesse.
Little Jessie. And what is little Jessie? Do you remember what type of pony she is?
Shetland.
She is.
I think the main benefits of the Newham City Farm is educating young people, well, all generations really, because you would be shocked about how many people do not know a life cycle or where their food comes from. We do a lot of guided tours where you'll have a child and you'll say, what do you believe, like where do you believe your food comes from? And they say, Mummy gets it from the supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd sort of say like, yeah, where do you think a supermarket gets it from? Don't know. So that's what I believe is educating people, and it's also a place for people to come, have a break just from day-to-day busy life, just a place to come and switch off.
We have a choice coming home from the school that we can either walk through the pathway or we can come through the farm.
We normally go
We
through
always come through the farm when we can, except on a Monday when you're closed.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest benefits we could have ever had. For your child to see real animals instead of seeing them in a book is just the most fantastic blessing you could ever have. So we consider ourselves very lucky to live in King George Avenue, to have the park and the farm. It's been wonderful for us. So yeah, I mean, I'm in the park 4 or 5 times a week. You know what I mean? So we love it.
Fantastic. Any favourite animals?
I used to like a horse which is over here, but it was quite old, so it retired.
Oh,
Yeah.
But his name was Blaze.
Blaze.
Blaze. We all love Blaze. We love the farm, and we will continue to come as often as we can.
How long have you been here now? 20 years. Oh my day, that's a long time.
Yep.
What things have we been doing with Blue? Do you remember we were working on some particular things?
Yeah, trying to get close to his face without him spinning, because he used to spin and then he'd fuck me.
So we spent a bit of time just trying to let him accept us near him, didn't we?
Yeah, we got closer, didn't we?
And we realised that it's not something that can be done very quickly.
No.
But what sort of feelings does that bring up when you're trying to do stuff and like Henry doesn't do what we're asking him to do?
Frustrated.
Okay.
And it probably picks up on my mood.
Yeah. So has that given you?
Just to breathe and
relax.
Used to be shy, if you believe that. Never used to speak to like public. Now I can speak to public. Really, it's the animals and the people. One big family.